In 2025, being out is safer than ever, but it wasn't always that way. These men were stars on screen, yet lived in silence off it. Some hid to protect their careers. Others never got the chance to come out. A leading man of unmatched charisma, Cary Grant was the ultimate screen icon. While he married multiple times, it's his decades-long relationship with actor Randolph Scott that still sparks curiosity. The two lived together in a beach house dubbed Bachelor Hall, and although they never confirmed their romance, many Hollywood insiders believed they were more than just roommates. In a time when homosexuality was a career killer, Grant simply couldn't afford the truth. The face of 1950s masculinity, Rock Hudson was adored by women and admired by men. But the truth was hidden until his tragic death from AIDS in 1985. His passing forced the world and Hollywood to confront both the HIV/AIDS crisis and the hypocrisy surrounding sexual identity in show business. Hudson's legacy is now inseparable from the LGBTQ+ history he never got to live out publicly. A symbol of youthful rebellion, James Dean lived fast and died young. Though publicly linked to women, behind the scenes he was rumored to have been involved with both men and women. One of his closest companions was producer Rogers Brackett, who many believed was a lover and a mentor. Dean once said, "I'm not going to go through life with one hand tied behind my back," hinting at his fluid sexuality. He never got the chance to truly define himself. Clift was brilliant, brooding, and tragically closeted. He endured years of inner torment, trying to reconcile his fame with his sexuality. Friends like Elizabeth Taylor supported him, but the weight of societal expectations drove him to addiction and despair. His story remains one of the most heartbreaking examples of Hollywood's pressure to conform. Known for his dashing role in The Thornbirds, Chamberlain was one of television's most beloved leading men. Behind the scenes, though, he spent decades hiding his sexual identity. He didn't publicly come out until 2003, fearing that being gay would destroy the romantic image that made him a star. In his memoir, he finally embraced the truth and became a quiet inspiration to many older LGBTQ+ individuals. Hollywood's golden boy of the 1950s, Tab Hunter was the epitome of clean-cut charm. Secretly, he had a long and passionate relationship with actor Anthony Perkins. Hunter later opened up in his 2005 memoir Tab Hunter Confidential, finally giving himself the freedom that decades of silence had denied him. His story shows how much pain lay beneath those picture-perfect smiles. Best known for his chilling role in Psycho, Perkins lived a life of duality. Married with children, he still struggled with his same-sex attractions. He was deeply closeted, battling religious guilt and societal pressure. Perkins died from complications related to AIDS, never publicly acknowledging his sexuality, though it was an open secret in Hollywood. A dashing star of the 1940s and 50s, Power's personal life was cloaked in mystery. While he had several high-profile marriages, persistent rumors suggested he had liaisons with men throughout his life. He died young, at 44, and the truth about his private world remains ambiguous to this day. Sal Mineo rose to fame as a teen idol and critical darling for his Oscar-nominated role as Plato in Rebel Without a Cause. Behind the camera, however, he struggled with a reality that Hollywood of the 1950s wasn't ready to embrace: his sexuality. Though he began to open up about being gay in the 1970s, by then his once blazing career had cooled. Roles had grown scarce, and the industry's fear of openly gay actors left him sidelined. Tragically, in 1976, he was stabbed to death in what police believed was a botched robbery. He was only 37. His death not only shocked the entertainment world, but also left behind a haunting question. What more could Sal Mineo have achieved had he lived in a world that allowed him to be fully himself? A leading man of the silent film era, Ramon Novarro was one of Hollywood's earliest Latin heartthrobs. Handsome, elegant, and charismatic, he captivated audiences on screen, while privately hiding his identity as a gay man to protect his career and his life. In a time when being openly gay could mean ruin, Novarro lived quietly and cautiously. That silence, however, did not shield him from tragedy. In 1968, he was brutally murdered in his own home by two men he had met through an escort service. The details of his death were both horrific and heartbreaking, serving as a grim reminder of the violence and vulnerability faced by closeted gay men in a world that refused to accept them. Barry Manilow, the beloved voice behind hits like Mandy and Copacabana, spent decades building a devoted fan base, especially among women who adored his romantic ballads. Behind the scenes, he shared a deeply committed relationship with his longtime manager and partner, Gary Keefe, but kept it private for fear of losing the fans who meant everything to him. For over 40 years, he stayed silent. But when he finally came out in 2017, the reaction was nothing short of heartwarming. Fans didn't abandon him, they embraced him. The love he received proved that the fear he had carried for so long might have been unnecessary. Manilow's story is a gentle, uplifting reminder that sometimes people are more accepting than we give them credit for, and that it's never too late to live your truth. Best known for his impeccable comedic timing as Niles Crane on Frasier, David Hyde Pierce built a career marked by wit, intelligence, and warmth. Quiet and private off-screen, Pierce never made a grand announcement about being gay. Instead, he simply lived his life, eventually confirming that he had married his longtime partner, Brian Hargrove. It was a low-key revelation that felt authentic and deeply human. In an industry that often demands spectacle, Pierce's understated honesty was refreshing. He became a quiet icon, not by trying to be a spokesperson, but by living a life of integrity and kindness that spoke volumes to LGBTQ+ audiences. Say it, type it, share it. You never know who else might need to hear your words. Kevin Spacey was once considered one of Hollywood's most respected actors, winning acclaim for his roles in American Beauty, The Usual Suspects, and more. For decades, he dodged questions about his personal life. Then, in 2017, when he was accused of sexual misconduct, he came out publicly as gay, a timing that many saw as opportunistic and deeply manipulative. Instead of being viewed as an act of honesty, his revelation was widely condemned as a deflection tactic. The controversy torpedoed his career and raised complex questions about visibility, accountability, and what it truly means to be part of the LGBTQ+ community. In many ways, his story serves as a cautionary tale about the responsibilities that come with coming out and the dangers of using identity as a shield rather than a truth. As the brooding and brilliant Michael Scofield on Prison Break, Wentworth Miller became a global sensation. But off-camera, he was quietly battling depression and living a double life. For years, he denied being gay, afraid that the truth would destroy his career. That changed in 2013, when he publicly came out in a powerful open letter rejecting an invitation to a Russian film festival because of the country's anti-LGBTQ+ laws. His brave stand made headlines and opened the door for him to speak more openly about his struggles with mental health and identity. Since then, Miller has used his platform to advocate for suicide prevention and LGBTQ+ rights, becoming a voice of strength, honesty, and healing for those who feel unseen. With his stunning good looks and undeniable charm, Matt Bomer dazzled audiences in White Collar, The Normal Heart, and Magic Mike. For years, he kept a low profile regarding his personal life, until 2012 when he publicly acknowledged his sexuality while accepting an award, thanking his husband Simon Halls and their 3 sons. His coming out was graceful and grounded, without fanfare or drama, and it only made fans love him more. Bomer didn't just come out. He showed the world what it looks like to live openly, lovingly and authentically as a gay man and a devoted father. In doing so, he became a role model for an entire generation, proving that family, success, and pride can absolutely go hand in hand. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Whether you stayed for a few seconds, watched all the way through, dropped a like, or left a kind comment, you made a difference, and I felt it. Career. Bankhead's husky voice and razor-sharp wit made her a stage sensation in The Little Foxes, 1939. On screen, she sparred with Hitchcock in Lifeboat, 1944. Personal life. Openly bisexual, Bankhead quipped, "Daddy warned me about men, but he never mentioned women." Her rumored affair with Gone with the Wind's Hattie McDaniel challenged racial and sexual taboos. They'd meet at McDaniel's club, where black performers could mingle discreetly. Wrote biographer Joel Lobenthal. Legacy. Bankhead's audacity laid groundwork for later icons like Bette Davis and Madonna. Career. The Russian Jewish émigré produced and starred in avant-garde films like Salome, 1923, a campy adaptation laden with queer symbolism, including a dance of the seven veils performed entirely by men. Though a box office flop, it became a cult classic. Personal life. Nadzimov's Garden of Allah estate hosted bohemian soirees, attended by Garbo, Dietrich, and Tennessee Williams. Her decade-long partnership with Natasha Rambova, Valentino's wife, blurred personal and professional lines, culminating in Salome's lavish sets. Legacy. Nazimova pioneered queer coding, using subtext to convey LGBTQ+ themes under censorship. Her influence echoes in works by John Waters and Pedro Almodóvar. Career. William Haynes rose to fame as MGM's quintessential boy next door, starring in over 50 films, including Brown of Harvard, 1926, and Alias Jimmy Valentine, 1928. His cheeky charm and impeccable comedic timing made him one of the studio's top-earning stars, rivaling John Gilbert. However, his refusal to conform to heteronormative expectations led to a pivotal clash with studio head Louis B. Mayer. Personal life. Haynes lived openly with partner Jimmy Shields, a former naval officer, in Brentwood. When Mayer demanded he enter a lavender marriage, Haynes retorted, "I'm in love, and I'm staying." After leaving acting in 1933, he reinvented himself as an interior designer, crafting opulent spaces for Joan Crawford, Carole Lombard, and even the Reagans. His firm, Haynes & Shields, became synonymous with Hollywood Regency style. Legacy. Haynes's defiance became a blueprint for authenticity. As film historian William J. Mann notes, he traded fame for freedom, proving that integrity could outlast studio contracts. Career. The Mexican-born Navarro became a silent film heartthrob after replacing Rudolph Valentino in Ben-Hur, 1925. His career faltered with talkies, as his accent clashed with the era's preference for all-American voices. By the 1940s, he was relegated to B-movies. Personal life tragedy. Navarro's secret relationship with director Rex Ingram, who called him "my greatest discovery," ended bitterly. Plagued by guilt over his Catholicism and sexuality, he turned to alcohol. In 1968, two brothers, exploiting his closeted status, tortured him for a rumored hidden fortune, leading to his death. The trial exposed Hollywood's hypocrisy, as media outlets obscured the homophobic motive. Context. Navarro's murder mirrored the dangers faced by queer men in an era when police often ignored crimes against LGBTQ+ individuals. Career. The King of Westerns starred in The Covered Wagon, 1923, a blockbuster that popularized the wagon train epic. Personal life. Kerrigan and partner Joseph Boyle co-founded a production company, living together from 1915 until Kerrigan's death. Studio publicists spun tales of Kerrigan as a lonely bachelor, a narrative he privately mocked. Context. Their discreet partnership reflects how queer men leveraged business collaborations to mask relationships. Career. Jean Eagles was a force of nature on stage and screen. Her breakthrough came with the role of Sadie Thompson in Rain, 1922, and she stunned audiences with her depth and rawness. Her final performance in The Letter, 1929, earned her a posthumous Oscar nomination, the first of its kind. Personal life. Eagles lived fiercely and unapologetically. Her bisexuality and battles with addiction added to her mystique, but also led to her being branded as difficult in a male-dominated system. Her death at 39 from a narcotics overdose was dismissed by many as the sad but inevitable end of a troubled actress. Co-star Regis Toomey once said, "She burned too brightly." Legacy. Jean Eagles remains a tragic icon of the stage and screen, her brilliance eclipsed by a culture eager to romanticize her downfall while ignoring the real struggles queer women faced behind the curtain. Career. Patsy Kelly made a name for herself as the wisecracking sidekick in 1930s comedies like The Gorilla and Topper Returns. Her sharp timing and no-nonsense delivery won her steady work, even if she rarely got top billing. Personal life. In 1931, Kelly began a lifelong relationship with Wilma Cox. They lived openly by their own standards. "We never lied," Kelly once said, "but we didn't advertise either." After Wilma's death, Patsy became a visible supporter of AIDS awareness and LGBTQ+ causes, using her voice when others still felt they couldn't. Legacy. Quietly revolutionary, Patsy Kelly embodied the spirit of pre-Stonewall survival. Authenticity without apology, love without labels, and strength beneath the surface of comedy. Say it, type it, share it. You never know who else might need to hear your words. Career. A Broadway star turned silver screen favorite, Clifton Webb charmed audiences with his quick wit and urbane charm in films like Laura, 1944, and Sitting Pretty, 1948, earning 3 Oscar nominations. Personal life. Webb lived with his beloved mother Maybelle and his long-term companion Merman Smith, a dancer. He never married and was known for his quips. When asked why he stayed single, he famously replied, "I prefer the company of geniuses, like myself." Legacy. Webb's persona, witty, refined, and unapologetically dandyish, challenged the era's narrow views of masculinity. He carved out space for men who didn't conform, long before it was safe or popular to do so. Career. The mysterious, magnetic Greta Garbo ruled the screen in films like Flesh and the Devil and Queen Christina, where her androgynous allure and haunting eyes left audiences spellbound. Her image was that of the ultimate enigma. Personal life. Off-screen, Garbo was a fiercely private woman. Her love affair with poet Mercedes D'Acosta, who once wrote, "I kissed her and she kissed back," was dismissed by the press as a harmless infatuation. But for Garbo, the pressure of living in the public eye and the impossibility of living truthfully pushed her into early retirement at just 36. Legacy. Garbo remains one of cinema's most enduring mysteries. Her withdrawal from fame became its own kind of protest, a rejection of a system that demanded performance even in private life. Career. Valentino was the original matinee idol, the Latin lover whose smoldering presence in The Chic, 1921, made him a global sensation. Women fainted at his premieres, and his style influenced a generation. Personal life. Despite his carefully crafted romantic image, Valentino's marriages to Jean Acker and Natasha Rambova were short-lived and rumored to be covers. Whispers of same-sex affairs, including with cinematographer Paul Ivano, followed him throughout his meteoric rise. Legacy. When Valentino died suddenly at just 31, millions mourned, yet his myth as a heartthrob overshadowed the more complex truths of his life. His story is a powerful example of how stardom can both elevate and erase a person's real identity. Career. With her sleek fashion sense and razor-sharp wit, Lillian Tashman was the kind of woman who lit up pre-code Hollywood. She played vampy, glamorous characters in films like Gold Diggers of Broadway, 1929, and was as much a trendsetter as she was a scene stealer. Personal life. Married to actor Edmund Lowe, Tashman was known in industry circles for her romances with women, most notably with Tallulah Bankhead. Her private life was an open secret in Tinseltown, and while the studio machine spun an image of a perfect Hollywood couple, those close to her knew the truth. When she died suddenly at age 38 from stomach cancer, the tabloids whispered scandal, botched abortion, suicide, but no firm answers ever came. Legacy, Tashman's untimely death and the gossip it provoked exemplify how Hollywood shaped, twisted, and buried queer stories. Her charisma still lingers. But the truth of her life was something the industry was never ready to confront. Career. A visionary of American theater, Eva Le Gallienne founded the Civic Repertory Theater in 1926 with the goal of making high art accessible, charging only $1.50 for a ticket. She wasn't just an actress, she was a pioneer, a producer, and a force for cultural change. Personal life. Le Gallienne was quietly but proudly lesbian in an era of silence. Her relationship with actress Josephine Hutchinson led to scandal and legal threats when Hutchinson's husband accused Le Gallienne of alienation of affection. Her journals reveal the pain of hiding her truth, with one entry reading, "Why must love be unnameable?" Legacy. Honored with a Tony Award in 1964 and the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1986, Le Gallienne paved the way for LGBTQ+ artists like Lily Tomlin and Cherry Jones. Her life was proof that one could be both outcast and icon. Career. Charles Laughton was one of classic Hollywood's most electrifying talents. His Oscar-winning performance in The Private Life of Henry VIII, 1933, revealed his genius for portraying emotionally layered, often tormented characters. He brought haunting depth to roles in films like Mutiny on the Bounty, 1935, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1939, leaving audiences both captivated and unsettled. Personal life. Though he was married to actress Elsa Lanchester, their union was not what it seemed. Lanchester later revealed, "We were both homosexuals, but we loved each other." Laughton struggled deeply with shame and self-denial in an industry and an era that offered no space for acceptance. Director William Dieterle once recalled Laughton weeping after filming The Hunchback of Notre Dame, softly saying, "This is how I feel inside." Legacy. Laughton's inner turmoil reflects the emotional toll of hiding one's identity. Yet despite the weight of silence, his brilliance endured. His performances still resonate today, not just for their artistry, but for the pain and truth they carried beneath the surface. Career. Barbara Stanwyck was a powerhouse of old Hollywood, known for her razor-sharp instincts and emotional range. She brought fierce vulnerability to Stella Dallas, 1937, and icy allure to Double Indemnity, 1944, becoming one of the most versatile and admired actresses of her time. Personal life. Her marriage to actor Robert Taylor was widely viewed as a studio-arranged partnership, more publicity than passion. Behind the scenes, whispers of romantic ties to Joan Crawford and Marlene Dietrich followed her throughout her career. Stanwyck later admitted, "Hollywood built me up, but it also caged me." That cage was not just professional, but personal, limiting how fully she could live and love. Legacy. Stanwyck's quiet strength helped crack the mold for women in film. While she never publicly addressed the rumors, her independence and unwillingness to conform inspired future generations of actresses to challenge the industry's rigid rules and to claim space for their authentic selves. Career. British-born Charles Bryant found his way to Hollywood during the silent era, but his greatest claim to fame wasn't his own performances. It was his association with the luminous Alla Nazimova. The two entered into a marriage of convenience in 1919, a strategic move to protect Nazimova's secret life as a lesbian in an unforgiving Hollywood. While Bryant directed several of her films, including the daring and avant-garde Salome, 1923, his contributions were often overshadowed by hers. Personal life. After the marriage ended and Nazimova continued on her artistic path, Bryant faded from the spotlight. With few roles and little support, he returned to England, where he died nearly forgotten and broke in 1948. In a bitter twist, his final years were marked by poverty, a stark contrast to the glamour he once brushed shoulders with. Legacy. Charles Bryant's story is a sobering reminder of how Hollywood used and discarded those who played their parts in hiding inconvenient truths. He was a man who helped shield a legend, but paid for it with obscurity and loneliness. Amara is not a celebrity in the traditional sense. She is something more radical. Through unfiltered Instagram posts, candid videos, and deeply personal podcasts, she has become a voice of queer truth in Nigeria. She speaks openly about love, parenting as a lesbian, navigating trauma, and demanding joy in a society that offers little of it. Despite hate, threats, and censorship, Amara continues to post and speak. Her content isn't just activism, it's survival, representation, and healing. She is helping countless queer Nigerians feel seen and heard. Simizi Malongo has been a household name in South Africa for decades. He rose to fame in the 1990s as a dancer and choreographer, and later became one of the country's most beloved TV stars. But what truly sets him apart is his unapologetic queerness in a society that once refused to accept it. Long before it was trendy or safe, Simizi walked red carpets and hosted primetime shows as an openly gay man. His colorful personality, extravagant fashion, and sense of humor made him an icon, not just in the LGBTQ+ community, but across South African pop culture. His 2020 wedding to actor Mohale Motong was a nationally televised event, marking a landmark moment for queer visibility. Despite a later divorce and public scrutiny, Simizi remains an enduring force for queer pride. Binyavanga Wainaina was not just a literary genius, he was a firestarter in African thought. Winner of the prestigious Kane Prize, he boldly came out in 2014 through a now legendary essay titled, "I Am a Homosexual Mum." In doing so, he became one of the very first openly gay public figures in Kenya, a country where homosexuality is still criminalized. Through essays, speeches, and activism, Binyavanga challenged the colonial roots of African homophobia and encouraged people to embrace indigenous expressions of love and identity. As the founder of Kwani, Kenya's most influential literary journal, he shaped a generation of African storytellers. His sudden death in 2019 was a tragic loss to both the LGBTQ+ and literary worlds. But his legacy lives on in every queer African voice daring to speak its truth. In Nigeria, a country where being gay can carry a 14-year prison sentence, Wiayedu Ikpe Edem is an unflinching storyteller of lesbian love. Her 2020 film Ife tells the story of two Nigerian women falling in love and choosing to be together in defiance of societal and legal norms. The film was banned from mainstream release in Nigeria, but its boldness struck a chord internationally. Wiayedu has since become a symbol of queer Nigerian resistance. Her work challenges not just the government, but the narrative that LGBTQ+ lives are un-African. In her words, our stories deserve to be told, not in whispers but out loud with joy. She's one of the few openly lesbian directors in Africa, and her courage is reshaping cinema in a continent that often hides queer love behind silence. Uganda is one of the most dangerous countries in the world for LGBTQ+ individuals, with harsh laws and mob violence frequently reported. Yet Kasha Nabagesera remains undeterred. A founding member of Freedom and Roam Uganda, she spent over 2 decades advocating for legal reform, safe spaces, and global awareness of the persecution faced by queer Ugandans. Kasha was close friends with David Kato, Uganda's first openly gay activist, who was brutally murdered in 2011. She has survived multiple assassination attempts, arrests, and harassment. Despite this, she's traveled the world to speak at the UN and global forums, bringing visibility to Uganda's LGBTQ+ plight. Her bravery has earned her international awards and made her a symbol of resilience in the global queer rights movement. Ricky Nathanson has faced both violence and victory. In 2014, she was arrested in Bulawayo for using a women's restroom. The public humiliation and legal trial that followed made headlines across southern Africa. Rather than disappear, Ricky fought back and won a groundbreaking human rights case that recognized her gender identity. She later fled Zimbabwe due to threats and now lives in the US, where she continues her work as an international advocate for transgender rights. A poised, powerful speaker, she inspires trans people everywhere with her quiet but unyielding strength. Thandiswa Mazwai is a voice of liberation. Known for blending Afro soul, jazz, and Xhosa traditional music, she's not only a celebrated artist, but also a fierce champion of intersectional feminism and queer visibility. While she's not always labeled herself, she frequently explores themes of same-sex love, non-binary gender expression, and Black liberation in her work. Her concerts are often spiritual experiences, complete with African drums, poetic interludes, and messages of empowerment. Whether on stage or on Twitter, she's known for speaking truth to power, celebrating queer love, and reminding African audiences that their roots and their queerness are not mutually exclusive. Yaya Mavundla is a stunning embodiment of queer excellence. As one of South Africa's most visible transgender women, she's conquered the fashion world, appeared on TV, and created platforms for other queer creatives. She's the founder of Authentic, South Africa's first trans-led fashion and lifestyle magazine. Yaya uses fashion not only as art, but as a political statement. By showing up in spaces historically closed to trans people, she challenges gender roles and celebrates African beauty in all its queer forms. Say it, type it, share it. You never know who else might need to hear your words. Dennis Nzioka is a pioneer of LGBTQ+ media in East Africa. A fearless advocate, he founded the first news agency in Kenya dedicated to sexual minorities. Through articles, newsletters, and grassroots organizing, Dennis has ensured that queer voices are not only heard, but also documented. He has risked arrest and harassment to keep the spotlight on LGBTQ+ issues in Kenya, using journalism as a form of resistance. His books and anthologies offer rare insight into the everyday lives of queer Africans, challenging the narrative of silence and shame. Nkani is one of the most visionary voices in African queer culture today. Born into a devout Christian household in rural South Africa, his journey of self-discovery involved internal battles with faith, sexuality, and shame. After coming out, he was rejected by family and community members, but instead of hiding, Nkani transformed that trauma into radiant, genre-defying music. His breakout album You Will Not Die is a powerful exploration of spiritual exile, love, and rebirth. With a falsetto voice that channels both pain and grace, he earned critical acclaim worldwide. His starring role in the film Insheba, The Wound, a queer narrative set in the Xhosa initiation tradition, ignited national controversy, but also made him a bold symbol of queer resistance. Nkani now divides his time between Johannesburg and London and continues to use art as a vessel for truth. Let's face it, these two are the gold standard. Neil, the charismatic actor who stole hearts on How I Met Your Mother, and David, the chef actor, full-time awesome dad, have been making it look easy for over 20 years. They've raised twins, launched businesses, hosted legendary Halloween parties, and made us all laugh along the way. Neil once joked, "David is the calm in my storm, and the storm in my calm." Whether they're vacationing in the Hamptons or cuddled up at home with Gideon and Harper, their love feels playful, solid, and rooted in friendship. Matt Bomer, actor, activist, and walking sculpture, rarely shares much about his personal life, but when he talks about Simon Halls, his warmth is undeniable. Simon, a respected publicist, and Matt have 3 sons and a deeply private life filled with purpose. What's striking about them is how grounded they are. No red carpet overexposure, no reality show-style drama, just deep love, shared values, and parenting teamwork. As Matt said in one rare interview, Simon is home. That's what he's always been. Luke Evans, the Welsh powerhouse from Beauty and the Beast and Dracula Untold, has found a beautiful rhythm with Fran Tomas, a Spanish graphic designer and civil engineer. What began with a few shared selfies has turned into a full-blown romance filled with travels, fitness, architecture, and lazy beach days. Their social media updates are a mix of swoon-worthy couple pics and candid, goofy moments. They radiate love without trying to be perfect, and that's the charm. Jonathan, star of Bridgerton and a rising gay icon, keeps his private life extremely under wraps, but he's been quietly building something beautiful with environmentalist James Ellis. They don't need matching outfits or press coverage. Instead, their love is whispered in glimpses: a shared vacation, a quiet stroll, a knowing smile. Jonathan's message has always been clear. Visibility matters, but so does peace. And love, when it's real, doesn't need applause. These Broadway cuties didn't just fall in love. They harmonized into it. Ben and Noah, both former leads in Dear Evan Hansen, turned their friendship into something that glows. Their relationship is built on a foundation of creativity, vulnerability, and music. They sing together at home, support each other's careers, and write love letters and lyrics. Their engagement announcement in 2022 melted hearts, and in 2025, they're still singing each other's praises. Colton's love life has had its twists, but when he reunited with Brandon Davis, oil heir and creative entrepreneur, fans noticed something different: peace. This time around, it's not about flashiness or drama. It's about home-cooked meals, long hikes, and learning how to be partners, not just lovers. Colton once said, "Brandon doesn't just love me, he believes in me. That's rare. That's forever." Cheyenne and Jason have built a beautiful life. 2 kids, 2 careers, 1 house full of laughter, and possibly glitter. Cheyenne, known for his work in Glee and American Horror Story, and Jason, a successful entrepreneur, bring out the best in each other. Their twins are often featured in their social media, singing, dancing, and reminding us all how joyful queer parenting can be. As Cheyenne puts it, "We're not perfect, but we're present, and that's love." Wilson Cruz has spent his life fighting for LGBTQ+ visibility, and in Dr. Isaac Powell, he's found not just a partner, but a co-conspirator in healing. Together, they're more than a couple. They're a force for good. Isaac, a wellness researcher, and Wilson, known for My So-Called Life and Star Trek, share a commitment to uplifting queer youth and promoting mental health. Whether they're hosting charity events or just cooking a quiet dinner, their love feels intentional. Full of passion, not just for each other, but for the work they believe in. They're proof that activism can be sexy, soulful, and deeply sustaining. Before hashtags and heart emojis, before Instagram and Grindr, Dan Bucatinsky and Dawn Ruse were already building a life together. More than 25 years later, their partnership is still going strong, seasoned with laughter, humility, and love that stood the test of time. Dawn, the director behind The Opposite of Sex, and Dan, an Emmy-winning actor, have raised 2 children together and continue to redefine what a modern Hollywood family can look like. Dan once quipped, "We've lasted this long because we don't argue over who's right, just who gets the last cookie." Their secret? Humor, history, and a whole lot of heart. Victor Garber and Rainer Andresen could be characters in a cozy, elegant romantic film. Think soft sweaters, morning cappuccinos, and long walks through a garden they planted together. Victor, a celebrated actor known for Alias and Titanic, and Rainer, a Canadian model-turned-artist, share a life that's artistic, peaceful, and deeply bonded. They host intimate dinners, they travel thoughtfully, and they still gaze at each other with a kind of wonder. Their romance didn't fade. It matured into something even more lyrical. They are the dream of a love that grows old not with routine, but with grace. Wentworth Miller has always been intensely private, and after all he's endured, that privacy is sacred. But what he has shared speaks volumes. In interviews and rare glimpses, he's hinted at a partner who has helped him find peace, joy, and healing. He said simply, "Love helped me come out. Love helped me heal." We may not know his partner's name, and maybe we never will. But we do know this. For someone who once feared being seen, to now live in love, openly, joyfully, that is its own kind of miracle. Billy Eichner might be loud, wild, and unapologetically outrageous on camera, But when he's with John Doran, he's gentle, grounded, and all heart. John, a private figure in the film industry, has a quiet charm that complements Billy's bold personality perfectly. They rarely seek the spotlight together, but every now and then the camera catches that look, the one that says, "You're home to me." Billy once joked, "He doesn't laugh at all my jokes, which is exactly why I love him." It's a love that doesn't need attention to thrive. It simply is, steady and real. Anderson and Benjamin may no longer be romantic partners in the traditional sense, but their bond remains one of the most meaningful and intimate in the public eye. Living under one roof, they're raising their two sons, Wyatt and Sebastian, with unwavering love and unity. What they have defies conventional definitions. They're not just co-parents, they're chosen family. Their relationship is built on deep trust, daily support, and quiet devotion. Anderson put it best when he said, "I trust him with my life, and my sons' lives. That's love." In a world obsessed with fairy tale endings, Anderson and Benjamin show us a love that evolves, deepens, and never stops showing up. Russell and Steve are the ultimate example of right person, wrong time, then right again. After briefly splitting up, they found their way back to each other in 2019, and their bond has only grown since. There's a groundedness between them now, a peace that only comes from having known what life feels like apart. Russell, the British actor beloved for Looking and Years, and Steve, a former rugby player turned fitness coach, are a perfect balance of brain, brawn, and big heart. They're goofy, affectionate, and genuinely delighted to be in each other's presence. The kind of couple that makes you believe in second chances and long-game love. A breakout star from RuPaul's Drag Race, Gigi Goode shattered gender boundaries with retro glam and futuristic flair. A proud trans non-binary artist, Gigi doesn't just serve looks, they serve revolution. With campaigns from Moschino, Savage X Fenty, and more, Gigi is part of a new generation redefining what fashion can be: fluid, fearless, and fiercely individual. Before his 30th birthday, Philip Picardi had already transformed Teen Vogue into a hub of social justice and launched Them, Condé Nast's LGBTQ+ platform. As a gay editor in the elite world of fashion publishing, Picardi made space for queer teens, trans voices, and urgent cultural conversations. His editorial vision proved that fashion doesn't have to be shallow to be stylish. When Queer Eye launched, Tan France quickly became the darling of the reboot. But behind his calm demeanor and tailored blazers lies a groundbreaking story. He's one of the first openly gay South Asian men to achieve global fame. France grew up closeted in England's Pakistani community, where being gay could mean disownment or worse. Today he lives in Utah with his husband and their children, and uses his platform to teach style, kindness, and the beauty of gentle masculinity. Tan doesn't yell, he transforms with a whisper and a well-fitted jacket. Young, flamboyant, and unapologetic, Christian Cowan brings queer nightlife energy straight to the runway. His looks scream fun, from feathered jumpsuits to sequin-covered blazers. As a proud gay British-American designer, Cowan frequently collaborates with LGBTQ+ icons like Lil Nas X and Sam Smith. He designs for those who want to be seen, and he's making sure the world can't look away. A household name since the 90s, Isaac Mizrahi charmed America with his signature wit, campy showmanship, and love for vivid, joyful fashion. He was one of the first gay designers to become a television personality, blending style with storytelling. His documentary Unzipped was a rare peek into the chaotic, fabulous life of a creative genius and helped normalize queer excellence in mainstream fashion. To say that RuPaul changed fashion is an understatement. He built an empire on the belief that self-love and sequins can save your life. With RuPaul's Drag Race, he brought underground queer fashion into the living rooms of millions. From Harlem ballrooms to Hollywood royalty, RuPaul taught us that if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? He's not just a fashion icon, he's a movement. From winning Project Runway at just 22 to becoming the go-to designer for celebrities of all sizes and identities, Christian Siriano has redefined red carpet inclusivity. When Leslie Jones tweeted in 2016 that no designer would dress her for Ghostbusters, Siriano stepped up, proving that plus-size women deserve haute couture. Since then, he's become a fierce advocate for fashion that celebrates every kind of body, gender, and story. He lives openly with his husband Brad Walsh, and in every gown he creates, there's a whisper of defiance and a whole lot of love. Growing up in a small Texas town, Brandon Maxwell learned the power of presentation from his grandmother's boutique. That foundation of respect for the everyday woman fuels his clean, empowering designs today. Maxwell worked as Lady Gaga's stylist before launching his own label in 2015, fusing Southern charm with modern luxury. He is proudly gay and openly emotional in interviews, never hiding his struggles with anxiety and self-doubt. What makes Brandon special is his empathy-driven approach. His clothes aren't just beautiful, they feel like armor for anyone who's ever been underestimated. Dan Levy redefined LGBTQ+ love on television through Schitt's Creek, but he also quietly carved out a space in the fashion world through refined, gender-non-conforming looks and emotionally intelligent styling. His wardrobe, whether it's pink suits or flowy caftans, blends vulnerability with sophistication. As a Jewish Canadian gay man, Levy uses style to blur masculinity and softness in a way that feels personal and powerful. Dan Levy isn't trying to be louder than life. He's proving that dignity and subtle elegance are just as radical. Born in Singapore and raised in Nepal, Prabal Gurung moved to New York to chase his fashion dream and ended up becoming one of the most politically conscious designers of his generation. As a gay Asian immigrant, Gurung regularly uses his runway to raise questions about race, gender, and identity in America. His 2019 collection famously featured sashes asking, "Who gets to be American?" For Gurung, fashion is a conversation, and he's not afraid to make it uncomfortable. Say it, type it, share it. You never know who else might need to hear your words. Law Roach didn't come from money or connections. Raised on Chicago's South Side, he learned the hustle of vintage fashion before styling Zendaya into a red carpet goddess. He's now one of the most sought-after stylists in Hollywood, and proudly the first Black person to win Stylist of the Year at the CFDA Awards. Roach shocked the world in 2023 when he temporarily announced his retirement, citing the mental strain of the fashion world. It was a rare, honest moment about burnout, respect, and emotional labor, especially as a Black gay man in a predominantly white elitist industry. Law Roach doesn't just curate outfits, he curates legacies. The word subtle has never entered Jeremy Scott's vocabulary. Known for his cartoon-inspired couture and celebrity collaborations like Katy Perry's Hamburger Met Gala dress, Scott injects humor, queerness, and rebellion into every collection. Raised in Kansas City, he was bullied for his flamboyant style and creative mind. But he turned those scars into sparkle. As creative director of Moschino from 2013 to 2023, he turned fashion shows into playful, satirical critiques of consumerism and culture. Jeremy's design mantra: fashion should never be boring, and neither should life. Marc Jacobs made grunge couture before it was cool, and got fired for it. But that only fueled his rise. With a flair for contradiction, he's fused grittiness with luxury, turning flannel shirts and combat boots into high-fashion staples. Jacobs, who is openly gay, also battled drug addiction and body dysmorphia throughout his career. He emerged from those struggles stronger, more grounded, and even more creatively fearless. His recent marriage to Char DeFrancesco and open discussions about self-acceptance have added depth to his public persona. Mark's superpower? He never sacrifices authenticity for approval. Whether he's in a lace skirt or tattooing his body with bold art, Jacobs reminds us that self-expression is always in style. Billy Porter is not just a fashion icon, he's a cultural phenomenon. Known for his unforgettable red carpet looks, who can forget the tuxedo gown at the Oscars? Porter grew up in a deeply religious and conservative household in Pittsburgh. As a queer black man, he faced relentless bullying and trauma, but he transformed his pain into art, music, and fashion. Porter doesn't wear gowns to shock. He wears them to reclaim space. His fashion is a living manifesto for black queer visibility. In 2020, he said, "I'm not interested in making people comfortable anymore. I'm here to challenge the system." Through Pose, Broadway, and advocacy, Billy Porter is helping an entire generation of LGBTQ+ youth feel seen, worthy, and regal. Before he became synonymous with sensual luxury, Tom Ford was a Southern boy who struggled to find where he fit. Born in Austin, Texas in 1961, Ford would later transform Gucci from a struggling house into a billion-dollar brand, thanks to his bold vision of sleek sexuality and minimalist excess. Ford is known for his mastery of seduction in fashion. Deep necklines, velvet suits, sharp tailoring, and provocative campaigns. But off the runway, his life has been marked by love, resilience, and heartbreak. His decades-long relationship with fashion journalist Richard Buckley grounded him. When Buckley died in 2021, Ford spoke openly about grief, solitude, and fatherhood, revealing the soulful core beneath his polished image. Tom Ford's legacy is about more than glamour. It's about finding power in vulnerability and grace in precision. Their divorce was messy, but the real scandal exploded when Alex's angry voicemail to his 11-year-old daughter surfaced. He called her a rude, thoughtless little pig. The audio went viral. Alex's image as a loving father was shattered, and his relationship with his daughter grew strained. Though he later found peace and remarried, the scandal is etched into pop culture history. Despite her public image as the victim of Brad Pitt's affair, Jennifer Aniston's love life remained under a microscope. Her relationships with Vince Vaughn, John Mayer, and Justin Theroux all ended quietly, but with rumors of her emotional detachment and secret trust issues. She remains adored, but whispers about why her romances keep falling apart have never stopped. They were Hollywood's most unexpected couple. But behind the age gap glamour, Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore hid deep dysfunction. Demi later revealed Ashton pressured her into threesomes, cheated, and humiliated her emotionally. Their 15-year age gap turned from sexy to sad. After their split, she spiraled into substance abuse and body image issues, while Ashton rebuilt his life with Mila Kunis. They were young, famous, and head over heels. Liam Hemsworth and Miley Cyrus married after a decade of on-again, off-again drama, but the fairy tale imploded within months. In 2023, Miley released Flowers, a breakup anthem filled with hints of Liam's infidelity. She even filmed it at the mansion where the alleged affairs occurred. Fans applauded. Liam stayed silent. Their love was loud, chaotic, and unforgettable, like everything else Miley touches. When Meg Ryan left her husband Dennis Quaid for co-star Russell Crowe, the press turned on her. The actress, once dubbed America's sweetheart, became the face of betrayal. The affair didn't last. Worse, it exposed Quaid's own history of cheating. But the damage was done. Meg's romantic comedy reign was over. Years later, she admitted, "It was a very unhealthy relationship for me." Beyond Meg Ryan, Russell Crowe became infamous for his hot temper. He punched hotel clerks, fought co-stars, and famously threw a phone at a concierge. His relationships were often described as intense, controlling, and emotionally unpredictable. Charismatic on screen, but volatile in real life, his affairs often ended in disaster. Their courtship was swift and intoxicating. But once married, Amber Heard descended into a relationship marked by volatility, allegations of abuse, and legal warfare. In 2022, the world watched a televised defamation trial that revealed audio recordings, photos of bruises, accusations of drug use, and emotionally destructive behavior on both sides. It was one of the most public celebrity implosions ever recorded. Fans were divided. Careers were derailed. The real tragedy? Two people who once loved each other reduced to weapons in a PR bloodbath. She was the cool, brooding face of Twilight. He was a married director twice her age. In 2012, Kristen Stewart was caught in a passionate embrace with Rupert Sanders, her Snow White and the Huntsman director. The photos hit the tabloids like an earthquake. At the time, Kristen was still with co-star Robert Pattinson, and Rupert had a wife and children. The fallout was swift. Kristen issued a public apology. Robert was humiliated, Sanders' marriage ended, and the franchise's fandom split in half. Kristen eventually rebuilt her image as an indie darling and queer icon, but the scandal followed her for years. When the news broke in the early 90s that Woody Allen was in a relationship with Soon-Yi Previn, the adopted daughter of his longtime partner Mia Farrow, Hollywood gasped. Though Allen was never Soon-Yi's legal guardian, the relationship raised deep ethical questions. Mia discovered nude photos of her daughter in Woody's possession. He later publicly admitted he was in love with Soon-Yi, who was 35 years younger. They are still married to this day, but many still view the relationship as one of Hollywood's most disturbing. In 2005, Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch to declare his love for Katie Holmes. The world was enchanted, until it wasn't. Over time, rumors of Scientology's grip on their marriage escalated. Katie appeared increasingly distant. Then, in 2012, she executed a stealth operation, filing for divorce in New York while Tom was filming overseas, taking control of custody over their daughter Suri. It was called Hollywood's Most Calculated Breakup. She vanished into Manhattan, and Tom never saw it coming. No one played the Hollywood love game quite like Elizabeth Taylor. Her name alone brings to mind diamonds, drama, and defiance. Taylor married 8 times, including twice to Richard Burton, but perhaps her most scandalous affair was with Eddie Fisher, who happened to be the husband of her best friend, Debbie Reynolds. America was appalled. Debbie had just lost her own husband to a woman she called a friend. Yet Elizabeth shrugged it off, famously declaring, "You can't break up a happy marriage." That quote became infamous, a testament to her unapologetic intensity. In truth, Taylor's romance with Fisher didn't last long, but the damage to her reputation lingered for years. She was both revered and reviled, and no other actress so openly lived in the fire of her passions. It was the perfect storm. Brad Pitt, Hollywood's golden boy, was married to America's sweetheart, Jennifer Aniston. Then came Angelina Jolie, the wild child with a mysterious past. When Brad and Angelina filmed Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the chemistry was electric and hard to ignore. Soon, Brad and Jen's seemingly idyllic marriage dissolved. While Brad and Angelina denied any affair during filming, few believed it. In 2006, Jolie confirmed she had fallen in love with Pitt on set, essentially confirming what the tabloids had screamed for months. Brangelina was born, but Jen became a global symbol of betrayal. Even after Brangelina ended in a bitter custody battle, the emotional debris of this love triangle remained iconic. To this day, it's the standard by which all celebrity affairs are measured. Audrey Hepburn's beauty is timeless and effortlessly elegant. She has this rare combination of delicate features and radiant charm. Her large, expressive eyes are captivating, framed by long lashes that give her a soft, innocent look. Her perfectly sculpted cheekbones and slender neck add to her graceful aura. Audrey's smile, gentle, warm, and sincere, could light up any room. She embodies classic beauty with a purity and sophistication that feels both ethereal and approachable. Marilyn Monroe is the ultimate icon of sensual beauty and classic Hollywood glamour. There's something magnetic about her, the way her platinum blonde curls frame her glowing, flawless skin, the fullness of her lips, and that famous hourglass figure that became the standard of feminine allure for generations. But beyond the surface, Marilyn's beauty radiates a playful yet mysterious energy. Her sparkling, half-lidded eyes and mischievous smile combine innocence with seduction, creating a look that is irresistible and unforgettable. She had this rare ability to captivate you with just a glance, making her beauty legendary and endlessly admired. Scarlett Johansson's beauty is the perfect blend of sultry and soft, powerful yet approachable. Her deep, ocean blue eyes pull you in, almost hypnotic in their intensity. Add to that her full, luscious lips and glowing, flawless complexion, and you've got a look that's both striking and inviting. Scarlett carries a natural confidence that shines through every glance and smile, making her beauty feel authentic and magnetic. Her facial features are sculpted yet gentle, with a modern sensuality that's both timeless and utterly captivating. Jennifer Lawrence's beauty is refreshing and real, carrying a youthful exuberance that feels genuine and approachable. Her bright, sparkling eyes seem to hold a hint of mischief and warmth, while her radiant smile lights up the room with effortless charm. Jennifer's features are well-balanced, with soft cheekbones and a glowing, healthy complexion that gives her a natural, fresh-faced look. She has a casual, down-to-earth aura that makes her beauty relatable and unpretentious, like the girl next door with an unmistakable sparkle. Emma Stone's beauty is delightfully charming and distinctly fresh. Her signature strawberry blonde hair frames her face perfectly, highlighting her clear, porcelain skin and bright, wide eyes that twinkle with warmth and curiosity. Emma's expressive gaze is full of life and playfulness, and her natural smile adds an approachable, down-to-earth vibe. There's a subtle elegance to her look, a blend of youthful innocence and mature poise that makes her beauty both captivating and effortlessly stylish. Zendaya is the epitome of modern beauty, bold, radiant, and effortlessly cool. Her sharp, defined features, from high cheekbones to a strong jawline, are complemented by her glowing, flawless skin and piercing eyes that sparkle with confidence and intelligence. Zendaya carries herself with a poise and grace that amplifies her natural beauty, making her presence feel electric and unforgettable. She embodies a vibrant energy that's youthful yet mature, edgy yet elegant, and her beauty feels as fresh and dynamic as the generation she represents. Anne Hathaway exudes a classic, refined beauty that's both gentle and striking. Her large, almond-shaped eyes are soulful and expressive, drawing you in with their warmth and depth. Paired with a soft smile and flawless complexion, Anne's features come together in a harmonious blend of elegance and charm. There's a subtle sophistication in the way she carries herself, a quiet confidence that elevates her natural beauty into something truly timeless. Her look is clean, polished, and effortlessly graceful. Natalie Portman's beauty is the perfect example of intellectual grace meeting natural elegance. Her clear porcelain skin and symmetrical facial features create a serene and regal appearance. Her deep, expressive eyes are filled with emotion and depth, while her soft smile brings warmth and approachability to her refined look. Natalie's beauty feels delicate yet strong, understated yet unforgettable, a true balance of simplicity and sophistication that makes her stand out. Halle Berry's radiant beauty is bold and powerful, marked by glowing caramel-toned skin, sharp cheekbones, and expressive almond-shaped eyes that hold a spark of intensity and warmth. Her full lips and confident expression give her an aura of strength and sensuality. Holly's beauty feels vibrant and alive, reflecting a healthy, strong spirit that shines through her every glance and smile. She's a stunning example of natural beauty paired with fierce charisma. Megan Fox's beauty is edgy, sultry, and undeniably striking. Her piercing blue eyes have a hypnotic quality, sharp and intense, while her perfectly sculpted features, high cheekbones, full lips, and a defined jawline create a look that's both bold and glamorous. Megan's dark hair and glowing complexion form a captivating contrast that adds to her allure. Her beauty carries an air of mystery and confidence, a fierce femininity that's both alluring and unforgettable. Julia Roberts' beauty is warm, approachable, and instantly recognizable, anchored by her signature wide, radiant smile that could brighten any room. Her expressive eyes sparkle with kindness, humor, and a genuine warmth that draws people in. Julia's features are naturally balanced and soft, with tousled hair that adds a casual, effortless charm. Her glowing skin and friendly aura create a look that's inviting and relatable, a true embodiment of beauty that feels both real and timeless. Angelina Jolie is a striking vision of bold and powerful beauty. Her sharp jawline, full, luscious lips, and intense almond-shaped eyes create a mesmerizing look that commands attention. There's a captivating strength and mystery in her gaze, combined with a confidence that feels both regal and fiercely independent. Angelina's beauty is dramatic and unforgettable, blending sensuality with an almost otherworldly presence that sets her apart. Kate Hudson's beauty is sunny, fresh, and effortlessly chic. Her golden locks and glowing sun-kissed skin give her a vibrant, youthful vibe. Bright eyes and a wide, genuine smile radiate happiness and energy, making her appear lively and approachable. Kate's look feels casual but polished, embodying a healthy, active lifestyle that shines through in her radiant and natural appearance. There's a playful, lighthearted quality to her beauty that's both charming and inspiring. Jessica Alba's beauty is natural, radiant, and timeless. Her smooth, glowing skin and perfectly balanced facial features give her a flawless yet approachable look. Warm brown eyes and a gentle, inviting smile add to her down-to-earth charm. Jessica's style is effortlessly elegant, blending classic beauty with modern freshness. She exudes an authenticity that makes her beauty feel genuine and enduring. Blake Lively is the definition of radiant glamour. Her glowing complexion, sparkling eyes, and flowing golden hair create a look that's dazzling yet natural. Her confident smile and graceful poise add to her magnetic presence, making her impossible to ignore. Blake's beauty is vibrant, sophisticated, and full of life, a perfect balance of timeless elegance and contemporary sparkle that captivates anyone lucky enough to see her.